Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the UCPS Policy Committee. Today is Wednesday, October 27th. We have all members here. Melissa Merrill is with us by phone. I'd like to start by calling this meeting to order. Starting with the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving to approval of open session minutes from August 25th. We did not have a September meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. First up is policies for second review.
Good morning. The first policy we have for review is policy 2-3, settlement of claims. There have been no recommended revisions to this policy since it came before you last and was at the board meeting. And so we are recommending that this go to the November meeting for approval. Can we do them
all together?
Since there's only three, let's just do them one at a time, I guess.
I move that we send policy 2-3 to the full board for second review.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Next up is policy 5-4, extracurricular activities.
Yes, and there has been one proposed change to this policy since it went to the board and since you've all seen it. We had a request from athletic directors, and it's the changes in blue. It kind of, when I printed up, it came in purple, so I'm not sure which color it shows up for y'all. Blue font. There's been some issues with fifth graders on the teams, middle school teams, primarily sixth grade teams. And at the beginning of the year, it was reminded to all middle school booster clubs that you had to attend the school at issue in order to play on the team. So school students who are non-UCPS students were removed from the teams. There's been some issue with some current UCPS students who are still on the teams. And what the athletic directors have shared is that in order to make a team, in some situations, they need to have some fifth graders to have enough players. So the request from the middle school principals and athletic directors is that we add language that says you can be a fifth grader and play on the middle school team if necessary to make the team, and you have to attend an elementary school within the cluster. So that's the proposed change that's coming before you today that is different than the last time we reviewed the policy.
So of the elementaries in a cluster that doesn't have that specific type, they can go to another cluster for the fifth grade
We could
as
add
well?
the language like that we have for the above it. Yes.
Yes? No? Nelson, are you good with this?
Yes, so if they have a
Sorry.
Thank you, Nelson. I didn't realize you were here. I didn't see you.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Good morning. Yes, so I think if they have a sixth grade within their cluster that they could attend, and that sixth grade team needs fifth graders to fill out a team, yes. And then also,
So let's say that one of the middle schools doesn't have a football team. So the 6th through 8 are allowed to go play at another cluster, right? So are we going to say that fifth graders can also do that?
I think if it were a necessity to fill out a team, potentially,
Okay.
I think, obviously if they've got a cluster school that they would have to go there first. You couldn't
Right.
go across to a different, just pick
But
whichever
that's the
team.
rule, right? That's the rule
Correct.
right now for middle school. So
Yes.
you're okay with having the fifth graders have the same rule as the sixth graders?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And I think the key here is
I am
that
too.
the middle schools understand that these fifth graders shouldn't be taking the place of sixth graders that want to play, only in situations where they need those to fill out a roster.
It says if necessary to have sufficient players
Correct.
for a team.
Correct.
So
I have a question. Does this come up often? It just seems like all of a sudden this fall we've been getting these complaints or these issues. Is this a new challenge or what? Can you just fill us in on what's going on?
Sure. So I think there's two parts to this. There's the just cleaning up the policy with some of our schools as it relates to students that aren't enrolled in UCPS. I think there was some misunderstanding among some of the booster clubs. With constant turnover, sometimes we have to kind of school them up on the policy. And so we had situations where different leagues within the booster clubs were saying, yeah, it's okay for a homeschool student or a private school student to come in and play for our team. So we had to clean that part up. And then the second part of that was the fifth graders. At times, our booster clubs have fielded fourth, fifth grade teams that play in those leagues. We're not seeing as much of that now. So then it came to our attention that we had fifth graders that were playing on the sixth grade teams. And some of those, families who were asked to be removed were calling out the fact that we had fifth graders playing on teams when they weren't actually enrolled either. And so it's just kind of bringing clarity to that policy, I think, would help.
So just as a clarification, they were fifth graders enrolled in Union County Public Schools.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
So however, a UCPS middle school athlete who's homeschooled does not have a specific type will be allowed. So we can say middle school teams may include fifth grade students enrolled in an elementary school within the cluster if necessary to have sufficient players for a team, and such fifth grader would be allowed to play on another middle school team if whatever.
What I was thinking is moving the middle school sentence to to just before the however,
Okay.
and then put however a UCPS middle school athlete or eligible fifth grade.
We're eligible. Okay.
That way it covers both in the one sentence.
I'm good with that.
So I would request that this one also go to the board for approval at the November meeting.
As amended, so moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Next up is policy 6-2, parent organizations.
Yes, this policy came before you at the last meeting and before the board for review. There have been no requested changes, and we would ask that this one go to the board for approval at the November meeting as well.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Next are policies for first review, starting with policy 3-19, administration of medication.
Okay, this policy is coming before you today due to some changes in the state health manual clarification. And so the change that is being proposed is and the first one is on page 205, which clarifies the labeling on the container of medicine that's provided to the school. And just so you all know, these have been reviewed by our lead nurses and they are okay with the changes. And then on page 4 of 5, there are some changes clarifying the criteria for a student to self-carry their medication. And those are the only substantive changes, other than the other change addresses the new website for the health manual.
So at the beginning of every school year or whenever new medication comes in, the nurse has to see the student demonstrate that they can.
I don't know that they changed that it's every year. I'd have to look at that. But yes, there is a form that a doctor fills out saying the
Okay.
child is of sufficient age and maturity to.
Have they done that
self-care.
in the past to make sure the
Yes.
kids can? And so this is just putting it
This
in
is
writing.
just putting it
Okay.
in writing.
I'm
Yep,
good with it.
It's all part of state law.
Okay.
So we would ask this go to the board for review at the November meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll do these as a group at the end. Next
Oh,
up
sorry.
is,
Do you want me to do it as a group?
we'll do it as a group at the end. That's
Okay. Cool. Yep.
Next up is policy 3-7, prohibition against racism.
Okay, and I'm going to, if it's all right, look at 3.7 and
same.
4.7 together since they are companion policies and the changes are exactly the same. The changes come down post a Supreme Court case that was decided not that long ago. And what the case did is defined what sex means as far as Title IX and Title VII. And so we have clarified that it includes pregnancy and childbirth are the only changes as far as the policy. In red also is gender identity and sexual orientation, but as you can see, those were already in the policy. They're just struck through and added all together because that's how the Supreme Court handled that definition. So.
And it's the same changes
it's
on
the
2
same
and 3.
change.
Yeah.
On every page
Okay.
where sex is identified in the policy, and it's the exact same in 4-7 because they're companion policies, one for staff and one for students.
Okay.
So we would ask that these go for review by the board at the November meeting.
I have no comments.
Do we have a motion?
I thought you wanted to do them all at the end.
Okay,
Yes? Did I hear wrong?
that's fine.
Okay.
Next up is 3-7 sexual harassment.
Okay, and I'm going to discuss that and 4-7A together since like the other ones, these are companion policies. And the changes to this is also based on case law. And so the clarification in the beginning is just an overall clarification that the board does not discriminate in employment and admissions based on under Title VII and Title IX. And I think that may be the only.
There's only one change,
Yeah, I think
right?
that's the only change in that.
Other
And
than
then
the
we've
legal-
added the case law
than
and
legal
the,
references,
the,
yeah.
yep, the legal references at the end. And so we would ask that these go for review at the November meeting as well.
I have no comments.
Any comments?
Okay.
All right, next up's policy 5-20, computers, network, and related technology.
Okay, and we have changes in both the policy and the administrative guidelines for your consideration today. And Mr. Parker, if he's still here, proposed these revisions and his team have developed them. And Ms. Heinzel did notice on page, let's see, in the administrative guidelines on page 7 of 9, that apparently we felt that not sharing your password was so important that we put it twice in the policy. So we've struck the second version of the second time that is in there because it's not important enough to have twice.
Is there any other way that they get into Power School? I know it used to be NCWise, but isn't there still a thing that gets them in there? What's it called? They go in identity rapid. What's it called?
Oh, the
what? The Ed Cloud. Is that different from the Power School one?
I don't know.
don't know.
Okay, we can ask Jay separately. Okay, I have no comments to
But he
this.
would ask that these go for review at the November meeting.
Okay.
You
So,
good, Melissa?
Yep, I'm good.
so I move that we send policy 3-19, 3-7, 3-7A, 4-7, 4-7A, and 5-20 to the full board for first review.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Next up is for discussion, policy 4-13, school assignment.
Yes, and this is an unintended consequence, we think, that has been identified by by Mr. Garner and the other athletic directors. I didn't do the proposed change because we wanted to talk and make sure you were okay with it. And if you're okay with it, I can make a change and we can recommend this for review at the board meeting. If you look at, why aren't the pages numbered on this one?
No idea.
Go to the it's 3 pages back. And it's the provision that there's a highlighted provision that it starts at, that this provision takes place the 21-22 school year. And it's
Well, that's
highlighted.
way back.
It's
3 from the back.
3 from the back.
Yeah. Are we taking out that follow?
No, well, we can take out that language
Yes.
since it's
The
no
highlight can
longer
come out.
necessary.
Yep.
I'm listening. Oh, my watch is listening. Siri's listening to me. Okay. If you look at the second full sentence and it starts, students transferring after July 1st or rising 10th and 11th grader, 10th through 12th graders will be ineligible to participate in athletics until the following year. there's a potential unintended consequence in that, in where if we have someone who becomes an employee after their student is a 10th through 12th grader or moves into the county and wants to exercise school choice, and they're new to the county as their student is a 10th through 12th grader, they wouldn't have that opportunity and still be athletically eligible. So what?
But it already says that. Any student transferring via children of employees option directly to a school in a cluster where the parent is assigned.
Right.
Okay.
So
okay,
this is looking at
okay.
new employees or new to the county. So what we would recommend is at the end of that sentence, until the following school year, we add unless they have just moved into Union County or accepted employment with UCPS. And that would allow a new resident or a new employee whose child may be in 10th or 12th grade be able to use that one-time school choice or employee transfer and still be athletically eligible.
So school choice for, I guess I view, student choice is only open for a certain amount of time, right? And if somebody misses that open enrollment,
then school choice is a non-issue, right? Correct. So if I move in during the end of my student's 9th grade year and want to exercise choice for the following year, my child under
Oh, I
this
see.
policy would
Okay.
not be athletically eligible. So what we're asking is that for that late arrival or late hired employee, that we not take away athletic eligibility because they're not trying to, I guess, game the system.
Right.
They're just new to the county. And so that would be the recommendation. I'm correct, Mr. Garner? You can just nod your head. You don't have to come all the way. Okay.
Yeah, Ms. Morris, I think you described it really well. And we've had a lot of inquiries from folks looking to move to Union County and wondering if they can use the school choice option. And as it's written right now, those that want to use that and want to participate in athletics, they wouldn't be eligible because they are coming in after their 9th grade year. So this would allow them to still have that option because it's their first time enrolling in the district. So I think the only concern is because there's only one window for school choice. You know, they would potentially, let's say they moved in January of their sophomore year, they'd have to go to their home school and then make another transition via school choice. So I don't know if it's possible to have a school choice window for them moving in or not, but that's just one consideration that might be the only concern is a second transition. But either way, I think, you know, it gives them an opportunity to make that one choice, and then everything, the rest of the policy would apply to them moving forward.
do you have language?
The language that we talked about was just after that, until the following school year, comma, unless they have just moved into Union County or accepted
So
employment.
they moved into the county after the beginning of the school year, is that?
Or after their 9th grade year, because I may be a 10th grader or an 11th grader. And right now, if I'm anything 10th through 12th, I'm ineligible for athletics if I use school choice.
Right.
So if I'm new to the county and move in my 10th grade year, I could use school choice at that point. moving
But
forward.
they'd still be eligible to play.
Well, that's under the current policy. And then, so we're asking for them, if they are new to the county, just at one time, they get school
So
choice.
if you're a 10th grader and you moved into Union County, we would allow an exception to the eligibility for new people, but not existing people? See,
Well-
I thought, okay.
Oh, no, go ahead. I think what we're saying is that people who are already here get that opportunity in 9th grade to do school choice. But if I move into the county in 10th grade, then I don't have the opportunity to use school choice and be athletically eligible. Existing folks have that one opportunity in 9th grade. And so that was the only,
But it still has to be within the school choice window.
correct. Now,
But what if
employee
they move- What
transfers,
if they move in March when our open window is in February? What are we gonna do about that?
then school choice isn't an option for them.
So if you move in January, you get it, but if you move March 1, you don't get it.
Then we look at, is there another reason for your transfer or is there space? Now, we can expand the choice window if that's the concern.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. And it may just be that instead of for new residents, for newly accepted UCPS employee, for newly hired employees, or do we just want to leave it as it is? That's just, it was a concern that came up from the ADs.
Yeah, I think it's just being able to answer those questions, those inquiries. If the answer is no, you're moving in after your ninth grade year, so you're just out of luck. You can go to that school, but you wouldn't be athletically eligible. We were just a little unclear as the policy was written whether that would apply to someone coming in for the first time. So either way, we need to have clarity for those questions.
I think the only one that staff would feel strong about is new employees having the opportunity to transfer and be athletic. If somebody lives in a different county and comes to work for us, being able to have their child come to school and be athletically eligible. But for school choice, that I don't think anybody has any real concern one way or another on that one. Just trying to clean it up.
John, you got any comments?
I think personally that I would be good with employees because it's another free way to get people to come here. A perk, thank you.
So would we be more comfortable with the language unless they have just accepted employment, unless the parent has just accepted employment with UCPS and take out the
You're new to the county.
Right, you don't get to keep moving schools, doing school choice or doing employee transfer to keep getting better teams. It allows you that one selection.
I think I would be okay with leaving new to the county in, but I think if we did, we'd have to adjust the window.
To what?
Yeah, the problem is with the window, it leaves it's just hard to manage if we don't have a time frame, and it's hard for the high schools to plan, especially the high schools. That's where we've had the most
Their
concerns.
master schedules.
Is the master schedules, and if I keep allowing folks to come just because there's space in their school, it just requires them to keep adjusting their master schedules, and there's a lot of frustration for the principals when we do that. And that's why initially, as long as there was still space, we just kept moving school choice. And then last summer, the principals really said we really need to hold that window. And so we have since that time, just to protect their academic schedule or their master schedule, unless there's some unique circumstance. And then I call the principal and we work through it individually on a case-by-case basis.
So on a new person can move in to the district knowing that they can go to any of the choice schools where,
We've not given them that
I
option.
know, but that's
Yeah.
what we're asking
That's
for.
what they would allow that now. The student, if I'm new to the county, I'd still be eligible at my home school. So it's not like there's ineligibility.
No, I know.
So it may be that we just take that piece out and leave the employee piece, because some of our employees, their kids might not have athletic eligibility otherwise.
Okay.
So if it's okay, we would request that with the removal of that highlighted sentence, and then say, unless the parent has just accepted employment with UCPS, that amended version, we would request that go to the board for first review, take it out of discussion.
Well, wait.
Good.
Well, how does other people feel about the new families moving in? But it would only be in the 10th grade year. What if they move in junior year?
This would allow it if their move-in is
Anytime.
anytime in 10th through 12th.
What'd you say? What is everyone? Okay, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
How do you know about?
I mean, I think the window is the key, and if the principals, because of their master schedule, were wishing to have that locked in, I mean,
But do we allow it for move-ins that moved in October through January, if they can still use the choice option. Yes. You're good with choice.
I'm
This is
good.
Okay. Okay, for both. Okay, and Nelson, that's what they wanted, both families moving in and staff. Okay, so move for, what? Okay. Okay, but they have to move in before the time of the window for choosing choice.
Correct.
Okay. Okay,
Do with
so
that, John.
moved, whatever I just said.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, sorry, not video. I move that we send to the, we're gonna do this to the, for first review.
Yeah.
4-13 to the changes that we discussed regarding choice for families moving into the district prior to the window and new employees.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Brings us to actions to be taken to the full board. As we just mentioned, 4-13 school assignment as amended to the board. Our board meeting's the 4th, correct?
Yes.
November the 4th, along with items for first review, policy 3-19, 3-7, 3-7A, policy 4-7, policy 4-7A, and policy 5-20, with policies for second review to the full board, 2-3, 5-4, and policy 6-2.
Did we include 4-13?
Yeah, I said that.
Okay, cool. Okay.
And like to discuss moving our meeting dates to the third Tuesday of the month at 8 o'clock via Zoom. If everybody on the committee is okay with that. John, are you okay with the Zoom meeting versus in person? It's easier.
Yes, that's good.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, so our next meeting will be
Yeah.
November 16th at 8 o'clock via Zoom.
Awesome.
With that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.